Bedtime story of the day. So the story for tonight would be The Midnight Doll. So let us start. In a quiet town, there was a little shop tucked between two tall buildings that sold handmade dolls. It was run by an elderly woman named Mrs. Vera, who had been crafting dolls for as long as anyone could remember. Each doll had a unique look, with carefully staged faces, sparkling glass eyes, and beautiful outfits. One day, a girl named Emily visited the shop with her mother. Emily was instantly drawn to a doll sitting on the highest shelf. The doll had long, dark hair, pale face, and a bright red dress with a delicate lace collar. Sounds like Annabelle. Well, we should just continue. But it was the doll's eyes that captivated Emily. They seemed almost alive, watching her intently. Mrs. Vera smiled as she handed the doll to Emily, and she said, "Take care of her, dear. She likes to be noticed." Man, that sounds so spooky. Emily then took the doll home, delighted to have it, and that night she placed the doll on her bedside table, its glassy eyes watching over her as she drifted off to sleep. How could she buy the doll in the first place? I don't understand. Hiya. But strange things began happening. At midnight, Emily heard faint footsteps in her room. She set up her she set up heart pounding, but saw no one. The doll was still there on the table, but its head, man, but its head was turned ever so slightly, as if it had been watching her sleep. I told you, Emily, I told you don't buy the doll. You're gonna regret this. The next night, Emily woke up again to the same quiet footsteps. This time the doll was on the edge of the table. Man, she moved. The doll moved, man. One arm outstretched as if reaching toward her. She felt a chill run down her spine, but she convinced herself it was just her imagination. You know what? This is the problem of overthinking. That's why you guys watching this, don't overthink much. Just if something moves, it's a ghost. Okay, don't think it's your imagination or dream or something. Emily. On the third night, Emily felt a tug on her blanket. Her eyes shot open, and there, standing at the foot of her bed, was the doll. His head was tilted, a strange smile etched into its face. Emily's scream filled the room as she threw the doll across the floor. This is Annabelle, definitely Annabelle. The next morning, shaken, Emily's mother decided to take the doll back to Mrs. Vera's shop. But when they returned, they found the shop closed and boarded up with no trace of Mrs. Vera anywhere. Desperate for answers, they asked around the town, only to learn a chilling story. Bro, I'm not joking. This is like a very scary and, man, what a plot twist. Mrs. Vera actually had passed away years ago, and her shop had been abandoned ever since. Emily's heart raced. She looked down at the doll in her hands, now grinding wider than ever, and realized the terrible truth. She had brought home something that wasn't meant to leave. I told you, don't overthink. If something moves in your house, under your bed, it's a ghost. Not a cockroach, not ant, not fairy tooth. It's a ghost, okay? As she tried to throw the doll away, its tiny hands clutched hers tightly. And that night, when Emily's mother came to check on her, all she found was the doll sitting on Emily's bed, its eyes sparkling as though it had just claimed a new home. Boom! Emily, all I have to say to you is one thing. If that, from what I read, the doll wasn't even, look beautiful or something attractive about the doll. It's just the eyes that looks so alive, and it actually alive. And I don't know how she was attracted to the doll, but to all of us, me and you watching this, let's not buy any doll, any scary looking doll. They might be alive. So that's it, our bedtime story for today. See you guys on the next video. Ciao, ciao.